Hello my lovelies, welcome to another art video from me, Gemma Jones, your art host for today. I just wanted to have a very quick video going over a quick art haul and what have I been drawing lately. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first item I have for you is acrylic paper by De La Rowney. I got a massive pad of paper so I could just experiment with my acrylics without worrying about ruining canvas. So I can feel free to mess around and play on that. Another piece I got was some pastel paper. Now I've never really worked exclusively in pastels. I've always used it as a mixed media with other artwork. I've always blended it in over the top of my Copics actually, but I just thought I'd experiment with my pastel pencils and that's what I drew. This is all different shades of white, this paper. Some tracing paper in between it, some very thin paper to stop it all smudging together. And yeah, I really like it. It's very, very nice. Again, by De La Rowney. And yeah, what I discovered with that was I really need some pastel sticks because my pastel pencils just ain't got the coverage. Not on this massive piece of paper anyway, maybe on smaller pieces and detailed pieces, but I really need to get some stick pastels to go with this. Oh, and another thing that I got was a Liquitex Basics set of acrylics. Now these gorgeous colors are basically, I think, most of the whole range of the Basics range. And I thought to myself, I won't need any heavy body acrylics, I'm fine now, okay? Because I had these, which are another thing that I picked up recently, which is the golden fluid acrylics. I thought, yeah, these will do fine for all of my acrylic needs. I like a smooth acrylic. I like it to flow very nicely. But when working on canvas, I found that I really did need some heavy body acrylics. So I picked up these. Very, very inexpensive. I got them from artdiscount.co.uk for, I think it was £34 or something for a whole set. So I was very pleased with that. Speaking of paints, I also picked up some water mixable oil colours. These are Winsor Newton, and this is just a beginner set. This is just like a few basic colours: yellow, red, blue, green. Yeah, just your basics. So I'm going to give that a play. I'm going to play with those and see if I like those, and if I do, then I'll probably buy a few more colours. I haven't worked in oils for years because I've had a young baby and a toddler, and I didn't want her to wander into the art room and kind of smudge her hands in oil paint and get it everywhere, and it can be toxic. So I wanted to make sure that all of the paints that I used were non-toxic, or at least fast drying, so that she wouldn't get into them. But now she's older, I can get back into oil painting, yay! Another thing that I picked up was some airbrush medium, and this is from Golden, and I use this with my my acrylics to make glazes. So instead of mixing my acrylics with water, I mix my acrylics with airbrush medium, and what this does is it reduces the chance of flaking by diluting the binding medium of the acrylic. So what that means is you get more medium and less pigment, but you still have a lot of medium in your work. And if you're using water, what you're doing is you're diluting the medium. Blah blah. Airbrush medium. It's really good. Another thing I got was some gesso primer. Just a very small pot. I don't usually re-gesso pieces of canvas that I get. I must admit I am a lazy artist when it comes to gessoing things. So I don't usually use a whole lot of this, but I know I should, so I got some. One of the reasons why I got some was I recently picked up a piece of panel that had been pre-gessoed, and one of the things I can already notice with it is that it's got a little lump right here where there's something being trapped underneath the gesso as it's been gessoed, and it's very, very thinly gessoed. So what I will be doing is I will be putting some gesso on, sanding it down so I can have a nice smooth panel finish. This I also got from Art Discount. I think it was a tenner. It's really nice. It's just a wooden MDF panel, I think, and it's a deep one. I didn't think it would be that deep, but hey, we'll work with what we have. I probably will do something like an oil painting on that one. Another thing I picked up, let me put these down, is some really cheap canvas from Tiger. Now if you live in the UK, you know what Tiger is. If you live in Denmark or Sweden, it's called TGR. And yeah, basically I used it to draw this little sucker. So yeah, and that's a present for a friend, and I also used the Liquitex acrylics on that. I did a base of the golden fluid acrylic to get the basic colours in, and then I went over the top with a heavier body acrylic to get the texture. And basically, yeah, cheap panel canvas. One thing I do like about cheap canvas is that if you're just practicing, or if you're doing something that you know will go away in the bin after a while, then you can use a cheap canvas without guilt, because it helps you relax. You're not worried about ruining it and wasting money. Yeah, so basically I buy a nice cheap canvas. I use the little peg bits in the back to stretch it, just hammer those into the slots, and you get a nice taut canvas, because sometimes these can be a little bit loose. You're supposed to add a layer of gesso. If I'm working with acrylics, I don't usually worry about it, because acrylics is polymer medium, so that adheres to the surface without much trouble. I just try not to get my greasy fingerprints on it beforehand. But yeah, cheap canvas, you're good to go. Another thing I picked up, I know I've been on a huge spending spree, my wallet is a lot lighter now, is these Fine Tech gold watercolours. And these are absolutely wonderful, different shades of gold, watercolour. I think they're supposed to be for calligraphy. But yeah, on my art I use them for gold highlights, silver highlights. There's a silver in here as well. Fantastic, I recommend them to anybody. They're not super expensive, they're about £23 and a few quid shipping if you live in the UK. You can get them from Penman Direct, I think. Yeah, check them out. What else did I get? Oh, yes! I got some Daniel Smith watercolours. Yay! For the first time in my life. These are amazing. You know, I heard a lot of watercolorists. Oops! I heard a lot of watercolorists talking about Daniel Smith watercolours, and I was like, oh, how different can they be? They're really expensive. So what I did was I got their spot colour chart sheet. Hold on a second, I'll get that for you. Right. Yes, my toddler's been into it, so forgive the state of it. So yeah, basically you get dots of colour on paper that they send you, and you can check out all of the pigments yourself, see how they run, see how they wet, see what kind of effects you can get with them. Just like lay them all out on a piece of paper, mix them, experiment with them, and see which colours you like best, because you know you usually can't tell by the colour of the tube. And yeah, I was very impressed. I love the granulation. They have some special ones that are made with actual gemstones, lapis lazuli, amethyst, hematite. They have actual paints made from those pigments, and yeah, and they have some ones that separate into different colour values, like this one, which is Serpentine Genuine. When you mix it up, it looks like a normal green, when it settles into the paper, it separates into a little bit of brown, a little bit of green, and it gives you this really mottled, subtle effect, which I find absolutely fantastic. And this one is just graphite grey. This one is going to be used for grayscale paintings in the future. It's just a very nice graphite grey. So you can lay down your pencil and then use this with it and it won't look weird, which is fantastic because I've never seen a grey quite like this one. I will be getting a lot more of these paints in the future actually. And now I'm gushing, so I'll stop. I also picked up a few books, if you would like to see. I picked up these two puppies. Hold on a second. These two I picked up from Amazon, and it's The Anatomy of Style by Patrick J. Jones and Sci-Fi and Fantasy Oil Painting Techniques, also by the same guy. And stupidly, I didn't realise they were from the same guy until I got them home and I was like, it's by the same guy. Amazing. I mean, I've gotten a little way into this. It is packed with information, especially if you read his diagrams. He actually puts more, oh gosh, there you go. He actually puts more detail into his actual illustration diagrams, and they are amazing. I mean, I'm gonna have to spend like a month going through this thing and just page by page, copying, drawing, observing, learning. And once I'm done with that one, I'll move on to this one, which I'm sure will be just as information packed. I haven't even looked in it yet. Oh, just fantastically gorgeous in every way. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Oh, I also picked up the really exciting stuff. You're going to want to see this. Cellophane bags. For my artwork to go in when I post it out. Because I sold some original pieces this month, which was absolutely fantastic for me. And I realised I don't have any cellophane bags to put them in. I can't just pop them in an envelope and send them off without any kind of protective cover. So, cellophane bags, and I also picked up a water bucket. Now I got this one from Ken Bromley Art Supply, and it is fantastic. It's got 3 different sections and a little section to hold your cloth or rag or paper or whatever. So you can use one section for your lights, one section for your darks, and one section as clean water, which is what I do. And it also comes with these rivets on the handle so you can put your brushes down. And it's really good. I love it. I mean, it's a tenner. It's $9.99 for the bucket. And I thought, oh, can't I just use a cup like everybody else? And then I thought, you know what? I have been wanting a compact water, solution for my art station for quite some time. Because usually, I've got 3 jars and my teacup, and my teacup usually gets it in terms of paint in tea disaster ratio. So I thought I'll get an actual bucket, and then I won't dip my brushes in my tea anymore. I also got myself one of these usual sketchbooky thingies. Yeah, started to draw something, started to draw something else. Yeah, just so I could mess around. I like this paper because it takes Copics without too much bleed through. Yeah, and it can take a little bit of mixed media, a little bit of ink, pencil, tiny bit of paint. I mean, I wouldn't watercolor on this very harshly, maybe just a few pieces here and there. Yeah, I like the spiral bound ones because you can open them all the way, and because I'm left-handed, if something's kind of popping up here, it's kind of annoying. So these I love. Everything else I love. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you next week. Bye!